Welcome back to another episode of Be Our Guest here on Musical Theater Radio. I am your host, as always, Jean-Paul Yovanov. It was a TV show in the 80s. It became a verb in the Oxford Dictionary when you had to fix something in an improvised or inventive way using whatever items are at hand. And now it is a musical. Of course, I am talking about MacGyver. And as of January 27th, you can now get the world premiere recording of the MacGyver musical. Today, we have an incredible guest, a paperclip, and some gum. With these three items, I'm going to put together a fantastic interview, MacGyver style. To talk about this new release, let's welcome to the show, Brandon Victor Dixon. Brandon, hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing good, thank you. So before we get into the show and the CD and the release and everything, I want to get to know my guest a little bit better. I know our listeners want to get to know who you are. So who is Brandon in 30 seconds? The 30-second bio of Brandon.
Brandon is a man trying to expand his consciousness and the consciousness of others so that we as humanity can grow more closer to who we are and who we can be together.
That is far deeper than this interview will ever get. That is the deepest my guests have ever said anything. But so
he's a man who loves books and theater.
Perfect. Now, growing up, were you always into musical theater, or is that something you discovered a little bit later in life?
No, I always was. And really, I attribute it to my educational environment. I went to a school that understood the crucial importance of arts education. So we had a music class every day, and we performed 3 musicals a year. This is first grade through 8th grade. So I was really steeped in it. And so I developed a love for it. And then when I moved on to high school, I just continued to seek out opportunities to perform in theater. My theater education is primarily musical theater and Shakespeare. So I was performing it in DC, and I got to study in Oxford, and then so I've always had a love for them. And my earliest artistic influences were Julie Andrews, Dick Van Dyke, and Michael Jackson. So
can't go wrong with those performances.
Extraordinaire.
Exactly. So you've done a lot of theater. I've been to your website and your bio and everything. What are some of the highlights that you've performed in? What are some of them that you went, oh, I'm so glad I got to play this?
I don't want to sound cheesy, but I'm really exceedingly grateful for each of the roles and experiences I've had. They're all really quite individual blessings for me. I often say that I've really been able to be a part of, 3 specific masterpieces in my life. So I suppose I can note those. And for me, those are the Scottsboro Boys, Kander and Ebb's Scottsboro Boys, George C. Wolfe's Shuffle Along, and Hamilton the musical. So, but playing Collins in Rent, Off-Broadway, and on live on Fox is really wonderful for me. Performing Judas, that's one of my favorite roles ever. I'm grateful for my time as Simba. I'm very grateful for all of them.
These are some incredible shows and incredible roles. So my question is, how did you get involved with MacGyver?
That is really, it's really through a whole other aspect of how I spend my time. I was doing some nonprofit work with one of the producers, a man named Stephen Gluckstern, who unfortunately passed last year. But Steven told me, he's like, one of his best friends, Lee, is the original creator of MacGyver, the TV show. And I was like, that's random and crazy. I love MacGyver. I used to watch it with my father when I was growing up. It's one of my dad's favorite shows. And he was like, I'd love you to meet him and just talk with him because, we're thinking of turning it into a musical. And I was like, that is an interesting idea. And he's like, well, they kind of broke it down for me. And so I said, I think that actually sounds really interesting and worth pursuing. And I'd love to keep me posted. And if I can support or if I can come check it out and just be a part of the ride with you all. I'd love to. And so that's how I got involved. And so I've kind of just been with the family since.
What is the basic plot of the show?
Well, it's set in November 1989 in East Berlin, and MacGyver is sent by the president of the U.S. to prevent the East Germans from invading West Berlin and wiping it off the map, which could quickly escalate into nuclear World War III. And so MacGyver, being MacGyver manages to foil the invasion without firing a shot. Never a gun, but by using punk rock music, bratwurst, and beer to not only stop the invasion, but to bring down the Berlin Wall and unite a divided country.
I never would have thought of bratwurst as an option for stopping a war, but
MacGyver can use anything.
Exactly. So who do you play in the on the cast recording?
Oh, well, so on the cast recording, what you hear is a song I sing called Drink, Drink, Drink. And essentially I play like an East German spy. And what we're doing is we're trying to pull one over on some soldier. So the song Drink, Drink, Drink is an ode to the wonders of beer that MacGyver and the allies that he's made in this punk rock band that they offer to the soldiers. See, the soldiers haven't been told of the invasion plan, and so the goal is to get them so drunk that they're too sloshed to mount an attack when the invasion comes. So that's what my character is. So I'm a spy who ends up helping them through this part of the ordeal.
What was the experience of putting together? You've probably done other cast recordings. What's it like to do a cast recording in general? What's it like?
It's a really cool experience, just from the standpoint of I grew up listening to cast recordings. That was a large part of my inspiration, for wanting to be in this business. And so so there's always that little thrill, but they're kind of hectic because it's a short amount of time to get a lot of material done. And it's like one day, so you're also doing it in whatever vocal condition you are in. You're not gonna, it's like you're not gonna be here for a couple of days or anything. You only get a certain number of takes because we're moving through this material. So it's hectic but joyful.
I guess, yeah, I'm always curious about how those work. You just go in. Is it almost one take, or is it?
Well, look, it's usually no more than like two or three. And the thing is, look, generally speaking, by the time we are going in there, we're pretty well oiled at this. We're used to performing it. So, and you are trying to get a live feel. So, the instruments are playing live with you a lot of the time. Like it's like, people are in isolation booths, so you're trying to get that live feel. And so, yeah, you normally don't have to do it, but a couple of times. One, because you don't have much time, and also because you are pretty well oiled at this point, so you can knock it out.
Who are some of the other performers on the CD?
Well, we recorded them in isolation, so I don't. Taylor Lauterman is one of the performers, but I don't know the rest of. I don't really remember the name of the cast.
I didn't realize you guys weren't all there, or you were in isolation. Oh,
I was. Yeah, I had for this one is unique. I had to come in and drop in and do this one because I was in the middle of doing Chicago on Broadway.
Just doing Chicago. That's awesome. So you watched the show as a kid. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how MacGyver are your skills, do you think?
Look, I don't want people to misunderstand. Anyone can be MacGyver if you want to be MacGyver and you're willing to apply yourself. But the things that MacGyver does, they require work, study, dedication, application. So I feel that I'm 50% MacGyver.
Okay.
Because I'm not constantly honing those skills, but I've honed them and I have that understanding. I have a MacGyver understanding. So if I need to flip into MacGyver mode, I feel confident.
Very nice. So, do you know where the show is going? I know the release is on the 27th of January. Have you heard anything?
No, I do not know specifically where the show is going. That is right now, if people really want to keep up to date on what's happening with the show, you can go to MacGyver.com/musical, and you'll get the regular updates on where the show will be coming out soon. Because right now I know they're releasing the album, and there's going to be a production forthcoming. But I know that's the best place to get that information.
Very nice. Yeah, I just listened to the song before the interview, Drink, and it's a fun little number.
Yeah, Peter Lorre wrote some really fun songs.
Yeah, I listened to the whole thing. Yeah, it's a great thing. Congratulations on the show. The CD it does sound great. Do you have anything coming up for yourself?
Right now, I'm in a series that just debuted on Peacock called The Best Man, The Final Chapters. So it's on TV right now. You can catch that streaming. And I'm going to be doing a concert in Los Angeles on the first week of March with an organization called Muse-Eek. And you can go to museek.org. That's MUSE /IQUE. And you can get information on that.
Very cool. Well, congratulations on everything you've done, Brandon, and what you've got coming up. And talking about MacGyver the musical. Now, before we go, I just have one more question. Of these 4 80s TV show action shows, which one do you think would make the best musical? A-Team, Miami Vice, Remington Steele, or Knight Rider?
Simply because we could get David Hasselhoff. Knight Rider.
I would pay so much money to see that. Thank you so much.
Otherwise, A-Team. I'm going with ensemble work, but it's Knight Rider because for David Hasselhoff.
Yes, I think all 3 of those would be really interesting, like the Remington Steele one or the Miami Vice one. You got the heat and the Latin sound, but Knight Rider, Hasselhoff on stage again. Yes, 100%.
Give me the Hoff.
Brendan, thank you again for coming up. Best of luck with everything that you've got going on.
Thank you so much.
All right, you can pick up the new MacGyver musical January 27th at Broadway Records, and probably after that anywhere that you can buy online CDs or cast recordings. We've been just speaking with Brandon Victor Dixon here on Musical Theater Radio. Tune in next week as we'll speak with another guest or guests about their life, love, and passion that is musical theater. I am your host, as always, Jean-Paul Jovanoff, and until next time, I'll see you when I see you.